Welcome everybody to Reach and Read. My name is Katie and I work at the Sacramento Public Library where books are just the beginning. We're so happy to have you here and to have local yoga instructor Kat Sun with us, and we'll get to her in just a moment. But first I wanted to mention a few things. So first is just some housekeeping. So this program is being done in a webinar format. So that means that all participant microphones and video have been disabled. But if you have a question or a comment, please feel free to use the Q&A function that you'll find at the bottom of your screen, and either myself or Kat will get back to you. If you're having any audio related issues, please exit the program and re-enter. We find that doing that will typically solve that issue. If you need closed captioning at any point during the program, please click the live transcript button that you'll find at the bottom of your screen. You'll click that button, wait just a moment, and then you'll see the closed captioning pop up and you can follow along. And also this program is being recorded and will be shared to the virtual yoga playlist that's available on our YouTube channel. And in case you haven't been to our YouTube channel before, you can find us under Sacramento Public Library. And make sure to stick around after the yoga demonstration for a short book talk based on this week's theme. And I did want to mention that since we are at the end of the Reach and Read theme of 5 elements, I will be sharing a short participation survey with everybody. So please keep an eye out for that email and feel free to share your thoughts and feedback with us. We always appreciate hearing from you. And also in that email, I'll put a registration link for the next session of Reach and Read, which will be on the 3 doshas. So keep an eye out for that. And I'm going to breeze over that, but I did want to mention that we have lots of health resources available at the Sacramento Public Library. We are going to be doing a virtual journaling for mental health program on June 29th at 4 p.m. So of course, if you're into meditation, mindfulness practices, art journaling, that's a great one to come to. We also do virtual Zumba on Mondays at 5:30 and virtual Zumba Gold on Wednesdays at 4. And Zumba Gold is great for beginners and older adults, so you can always feel free to join one of those programs. And you can check out a book about the benefits of exercise, mindfulness, and yoga from the library collection. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you and turn things over to Kat. So Kat, take it away, and everyone, please enjoy.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining us, and thank you, Katie. So as Katie mentioned, we are on the last episode, last class for this series of the 5 elements. So today we will be focusing a little bit on the element of ether or space. So we've been working from the most gross, the most dense, to the most subtle. So we've covered earth, water, fire, air, and today we'll be at ether or space. And so the element of ether, it is basically, it contains all the other elements, right? And its quality is the sense of connectedness. It's like kind of like the matrix that everything else sits within, and it permeates through everything. And so as I shared before, each element is connected to related to one of the 5 lower chakras through the 7 chakra system that's commonly known in the West. And so today at ether, we are at the throat chakra. So we will be working with a little bit of sounding, because the ears are the sense organs for this particular element, and the sense is sound. So we will do a little bit of vocal toning and sounding today, and be kind of stretching out and working with this area and the sense of spaciousness. Okay. And I forgot to mention as I began, so as always, I'm offering this from home. So please excuse any extraneous sounds you might hear in my environment. I can hear my neighbors already right now. They're kind of pounding next door, and my dogs might be getting a little upset with that. And I have an elderly father who lives with me. So anyways, if you hear any extraneous sounds, just let it roll off of you. Just let it move through. Okay. So with that, let's all go ahead and find just a comfortable seat. So you can sit up on a chair just with your feet directly underneath your knees, hands on your thighs if that's comfortable, or you can sit up on a little cushion, I'm sitting on one of those little zafus, those meditation cushions. You can also sit up on a little block or some folded blankets. This is my dog Ume. And and just make sure whatever you're sitting on, it has some firmness to it. You're not sitting on one of those couches that you just kind of sink into, right? Because we want to get nice and tall through our spine. So just find something that you can kind of ground your sit bones down into. And I like to sit towards the front edge of my sit bones, so you can even kind of walk your sit bones back a little bit. And really try to find the front edges of your sit bones. And as you ground down through your sit bones, pressing down through your sit bones, feel as you press down this ability then to lengthen up. So it's from grounding that we're then able to lengthen and lift. So ground down through the front of your sit bones. So again, walk your sit bones back a little bit. You broaden them out a little bit. Sometimes people like to use their hands to actually move the flesh out a little bit. And really get to the front edge of your sit bones, and then start to ground down through the sit bones and lengthen up through your spine. Now we're just going to do some big shoulder circles. So let's shrug our shoulders forward, up, back, and down. A couple of those. So forward, then up, then back and down. Just breathing here as you take a few shoulder circles. Get some movement into the shoulders. Notice how's this area feeling in your body this morning. Okay. And then once you feel pretty good with that, just go ahead, keep your shoulders moving back and down. Let your hands rest back onto your thighs. And then if you're comfortable with closing your eyes, you can gently close your eyes. Otherwise, at least soften your gaze. If you have glasses on and you don't need them, you can take them off. And then as we connect in now, so as we ground down and lengthen up, shoulder blades down, gently start to hug your navel in and up a little bit. Feel your collarbones broaden as you let your heart become a little more buoyant. And then to counter this overarching in the front body, go ahead and breathe into the mid back. Imagine from the middle of the spine, you're expanding out, broadening through the kidney band. And then the back of the neck, back of the skull starts to slide up as the sides of the throat slide back and up behind the ears, lengthening the back line of the neck and skull. So grounding down into earth and lengthening up into the sky. And take a few rounds of breath here. With your eyes gently closed or at least softened. Maybe open your mouth now and wiggle out your jaw a little. Stretch out your face, stick out your tongue, make some crazy faces. I'm the only one who sees making crazy faces, so no one can see your crazy faces. So just stretch it out a little. And then when you feel complete with that, gently let your mouth close, but bring the tip of the tongue gently towards the top of the palate. But if that creates any stress, then don't worry about it. Just leave it. Okay, and take a few rounds of breath here now. Let's just inhale, feel the expansion as the breath moves in. And exhale, feel the belly moving back towards the spine as the lungs hollow out and the diaphragm moves back up. So again, as you inhale, the air moves in through the nostrils, up through the nasal passages. It fills up the lungs, pressing the diaphragm down, causing the belly to expand out. As you exhale and that air moves out of the lungs, through the nasal passages, through the nostrils, the diaphragm is able to lift back up, allowing the belly to hollow back in. So just feeling that a few cycles. We always take a few moments just to really arrive, coming in to present awareness, present moment awareness in our bodies, connecting, noticing how your body's feeling here this morning, noticing how your breath is as we begin. And as we begin here, now go ahead and just feel the space that you're in with your eyes closed. So you're not looking around, or if your eyes are open, it's a soft gaze looking at a point, like a gaze point, and then look gently beyond it. So you soften your gaze if your eyes are open. So really awareness is inwards. As you breathe in and out, just notice the space within you expanding and gently contracting. You start to feel the space around you. Feel the temperature of the air on your skin. Maybe you can feel the texture of the clothing on your skin. Maybe you can feel the room that you're in. Feel yourself situated in the town that you're in, on this planet, in our universe, in the galaxy, and beyond. And then bringing it back in from that infinite beyond. Again, see the galaxy, see our solar system, back into the room that we're in, back into your physical body. Notice how you feel within your body. Feel the space within your body as well. There's space between the organs. There's space between each cell. There's space within each cell, between the molecules. Actually, we're mostly made of space, they say. And then taking a few more rounds of just nice, natural breaths. Okay. And then if you're ready, you can keep your eyes closed, or if you'd rather open your eyes, feel free to gently blink open your eyes. This morning, we're going to start with some sounding. So I have here my little Shruti box, and I learned this from my teacher, Sylvia Nakash. She's this amazing musician, teacher. Yeah, she's an amazing person. I'm no musician by any means, and I do not sing, but I'm gonna sound with you guys. So this is not about what you sound like. Instead, stay with this nice tall vertical axis through your spine, and imagine your spine now as a tuning fork. Okay, and so as we sound, we're just moving by vibration through this tuning fork, right? It's like you're tuning yourself in alignment through sound, or you're moving energy through sound. And just let it be what it's going to be. Don't worry about what it sounds like. This is not about sounding perfect or sounding beautiful or any of that. This is more about, think about it as a practice in like a moving energy and aligning yourself through sound, right? And again, I'm no expert in any of this. It's just a practice I learned from my teacher, and many people love it, so I share it when I can. So we're going to inhale, and then we're going to exhale. We're going to do the vowel. So first exhale will be ah, then a, e, o, and then the last one we're going to do noom. Okay, so we'll do ah, a, e, o, noom. One per exhalation, and then we'll do exhalation where we do all of it in a row. Ah, a, e, o, noom. And we'll do that 3 times, and then we'll end with an om. Okay, so just stay with me. Again, no one else can hear you because we're on a webinar. No one else even sees you right now. So just allow it to be an exploration in hearing and vocalizing, right? A lot of us get really stuck in this throat chakra area. So this is good practice to help move the energy here. Okay, so, and another thing my teacher talks about is she talks about the sound coming from the movement of the hands. So I encourage you all to just move your hands however you like, but let the hands move somehow and imagine the sound coming from the movement of your hands in some way. All right, so let's go ahead, take a nice big breath in through your nose. Inhaling for A. A. And then inhaling for E. Inhaling for O. Inhaling for Noom. And we'll do the whole sequence. A, E, O, Noom. All on one exhalation. We'll do it 3 times, 3 breaths. So inhaling. Inhale. One more time. Inhale. Inhaling for an Om. Just take a moment to feel the silence and the stillness after the vibration. Feel the space around you. Feel the space within you. And from there, we'll start to bring in some movement. And for any of you who are musicians out there, I deeply apologize. I'm sure I did that totally out of key and all that. Again, I'm not a musician. Okay, so let's go ahead. So we're still seated. You can stay in a chair if you're in a chair, or you can stay on the floor if you're seated on the floor. Again, let's take a big shoulder shrug forward, up, back, and down. And with your next inhale, we're going to reach our arms out and up overhead. Inhaling. Good. And as we exhale, we're going to spin it to the right as we bring both hands down. As we inhale, we move back up through center. And exhale, spin it to the left as you bring your hands down. We're going to pulse in and out of this a few times. So inhaling up. And really feel the space that you're moving through. Exhaling to the right. Inhaling up. And exhaling to the left. Inhaling up. This time, exhaling to the right, bring both hands down. Right hand behind you, left hand reaching for the right knee. Ground down to lengthen up nice and tall. And then gently hug your navel in as you spin your navel back. Spin your diaphragm back, your chest back, your neck, your head, your gaze back. Take a breath in here. And then exhale, spin your head forward. Look over your front left shoulder. Breathe in here. You can inhale. And as you exhale, let's unwind. Inhale up through center again. And exhale, spin it to the left. Left hand behind you, right hand reaching for the left knee. Ground down and lengthen up again. Take a breath in. And as you exhale again, start to spin it back. Navel back, diaphragm, chest, neck, head, gaze back. And breathe here. Notice how it feels to breathe here as the whole torso is slightly torqued in that twist. Take another breath in. And exhale, spin your head forward. Look over your front right shoulder. And breathe. As we exhale again, we unwind. Inhale, arms out and up again. Exhaling, spin it to the right again. Same thing. Ground and lengthen first on the inhale. Exhaling, we twist around the spine, looking back. Take a breath in back here. And then exhale, spin to the head to look forward over your front left shoulder. This time, you're going to start to look down towards that front left knee. So you're still spinning your belly to the right, towards the back, as your head spins forward and down to look towards that knee. And then take your back right hand off the floor and reach it for the wall behind you. So palms facing that the right side, thumbs pointing up. And then you can take that arm up towards the sky, grounding down through your sit bones, and like you're taking a little side bend. Your belly's still spinning back, but you're starting to side bend towards that knee that you're looking at. And then from here, as you exhale, spin your heart towards the floor. Bring that hand down onto the knee, both hands, one hand on each knee, and pull the hands towards each other. Tuck your chin in towards your chest, round your back a little bit. Breathe here. And then inhale, we rise and release. I'm going to pull myself back a little bit so you guys can see me better. And as I do so, I'm going to also share with you. So the element of space, I forgot if I said it or not, but it's related to the sense of connectivity because everything is connected through space. So connectivity is a sense of, is an attribute of this. Okay, inhale, arms out and up overhead. And as you exhale, let's spin it to the left. So again, we've been here before. Back hand on the floor, front hand can reach for the opposite knee. Inhale is to ground and lengthen the spine. Exhaling, we begin to twist over this, around the central axis of the spine, looking back. Take a breath in here, feel how it feels to breathe here. And then exhaling, spin that head forward to look over your front right knee as your belly spins towards the left. And then we're going to, again, start to look down towards the right knee. And we're going to take the back hand, the left hand, and lift it off the floor. Palm faces the left wall, thumbs pointing up to the sky. You ground down through that left sit bone, and you take that left arm up to the sky. Get long. So grounding and lengthening, and then starting to tip towards the right knee a little bit. So your belly's still spinning back as you're gazing forward. So there's a bit of a twist as we also arch. So listen to your body, be wise, and make sure you're honoring your body where it's at. Breathing here. And with our next exhale, again, spin your heart to face the floor as you bring that hand down onto that opposite knee, pulling the hands towards each other as you tuck your chin in, rounding through the back. Breathe here. And then again, let's go ahead and release, shrugging our shoulders. So inhale, sweep your arms out and up overhead. And this time we're going to keep the right fingertips lifted as we bring our left fingertips down and walk them down along the floor. And I see I still need to move back, I'm sorry. So left fingertips on the floor and right arm up. So grounding down through the right arm as you lift up through that arm, but shrug that shoulder blade down the back. And we're going to tip it to the side. And here, just imagine, even though we're each in our own space, we're all somehow connected as we all practice here together today. But just imagine we're all doing this together. There's a sense of connectivity through it all. Good. Inhale, bring it up, both arms up. And bring your right fingertips down, ground down through your left sit bone as you reach up with that left arm. And again, shrug the shoulder blade down the back. So try to avoid that arm being way up here, right? So get the shoulder blade down nice and tall through the spine. And then keep the length even on the side as you're tipping towards the side. So we're going to tip it to the right, grounding down through the left sit bone gives us the ability to then lengthen through the left seam, reaching that left arm up. Again, shoulder blade down. Breathe. And then inhale, bring the whole thing up. Again, left fingertips down. We're going to bend that right elbow and bring our hand to the left side of the head. Walk your left fingertips away, and then exhaling, gently tip your head now to the right. If this is too much pressure for your neck and your head, it's not appropriate to have your hand on your head, then just keep your hand down here instead. Just keep your hand down, and you just simply walk the left fingertips away and tilt your head to the right. You still get the stretch down the side. So the top arm just adds a little bit if it's appropriate for you. Breathing now, breathing into the side of the neck, from the bottom of the ear. Maybe you can even feel a bit of a stretch in the jaw. Notice where you feel it in your shoulders. Maybe you feel it down the length of the arm, all the way down into your hands or your fingertips. Just notice where you feel this. Focus on the throat chakra and this element of space. We're going to be working a bit here with the neck the shoulders, the head, the face, the arms, the hands, the whole upper region. Okay, now we're going to take that hand that's off to the side, that left hand, we're going to bring the back of the hand against our sacrum. So remember, sacrum is the triangle bone right here, right at the top of the butt crease, at the base of the spine. So just bring the back of the hand to press right against your sacral area. And we're still here, just pressing the back of the hand into the sacrum as we breathe. You can keep it here. If this is plenty, just keep it here. If it's appropriate for you to start to slide that left hand towards your right back hip pocket, bringing your elbow in closer towards the torso, you can do so. If you can even reach for the front right hip pocket, you can do so. Basically sliding that left elbow in towards the torso as you bring your left hand towards the right. Breathing here. And finally, if it's available, you can start to slide that left hand behind you up towards the spine, if that's available. So that in the back looks like this. So we were here, and then maybe you slide it back. So as you slide the elbow in, and then if you have more range, you can start to slide a hand back up towards the spine. Okay. So again, be really be wise and listen to your body and what's appropriate for you. One more breath. And then we'll release that left hand back down, walk it away. Breathing here. Again, find that line of energy. Breathe into what you find. And we're going to take the right hand off the head and bring it to the right side of our face and just gently help our head up. All right, and then hands back onto your thighs and just take some shoulder circles. Just notice how one side feels different from the other, perhaps. And then we'll do it on the other side. Inhaling, sweep our arms out and up overhead. As you exhale, now bring your right fingertips down, walk it away. And if you're seated on a chair and you're not on the floor, then just point the fingertips down so you get a nice long line of energy. And then we're going to bend that left elbow, bring the left hand to the right side of the head, and gently tilt our head now towards the left. Breathing here. So again, feel it inside. Trace the line of energy. For me, I feel it from the bottom of the ear down the side of the neck. I can feel it a little bit in my jaw. Definitely feel it through the shoulders, down the length of the arm into the fingertips. For you, maybe the sensations are elsewhere, or it's slightly, I'm sure it's slightly different. So tune into what you feel here, where the pose presents itself for you. Okay, now we're going to take the right hand now, and we're going to bring the back of the right hand against the sacrum. And just gently pressing the back of the hand into the sacrum, breathing here. Notice how that shifted things. Where do you feel it now? How does that feel? Okay, and then keeping it here is a good option, or you can start to slide the right hand towards the left back hip pocket, or maybe even towards the left front hip pocket as you bring that elbow in towards the torso. Again, every time you shift the pose, just see how it changes things for you. Notice the effects. And then last option is to slide that back hand maybe up towards the spine, towards the midline of the spine, to whatever degree works for you. Breathing here. And then when you're ready, we're going to release that and walk the hand away again. Get that nice long line of energy one more time through the length from the top of the neck all the way down into the fingertips and beyond. And then from there, we're going to take the top hand off the head, bring the left hand to the left side of your face, and gently help your head up again. Good. And then put some big shoulder circles. Okay. Now this morning, plant your hands behind you, and if you're on the floor, plant your feet on the floor, and we're all just going to windshield wipe our knees a little side to side, and we'll switch the crossing of the legs, so the other leg in front or on top. So there's the habitual way we do things, and then there's the inhabitual, the odd way, the way that feels kind of weird. And so we're in the kind of weird feeling position now. And again, shrugging our shoulders up, back, and down. Okay, hands on our thighs. Let's just take some seated cat-cow. So as you inhale, we're gonna rock towards the front of the sit bones even more, bringing our heart forward, like we're coming up, like you're coming up through a wave. Inhaling, looking up, and then exhaling, rounding back. So tailbone tucks forward, chin towards the chest as you inflate the back body, crown of the head forward. Inhaling, rock it forward, shoulder blades hug in. You're really expanding the heart in the forefront. Exhaling, rolling back, expanding between the space between the shoulder blades. So forward and back a few times. Feel that undulation moving through your spine as you move with the ebb and flow of your breath. And really elongating the front of the throat as you come forward, and then lengthening the back of the neck as you round back. Expanding the front of the chest as you come forward, and expanding the space between the shoulder blades as you move back. Good. One more time. Inhaling, rock it forward, and exhaling, rounding back. And then come back to neutral. From here, let's make some fists with our hands, and we're going to just circle out our wrists and circle them the other way. Good. And then we interlace our fingers, and as always, we're going to do the figure eight. So keep your elbows quiet. The action happens in the wrist. So like you're drawing an infinity sign, right? So it's not just circling. Although if that's what's appropriate for you, then fine, just circle. But if you can get the figure eights, see if you can make the figure eights the infinity sign. And then just switch the direction. You're going to draw that infinity sign in the opposite direction. All right, and then look at your hands again and switch the clasp, other thumb on top. And again, make your infinity signs. And then switch it other direction. And then we're just going to shake out the hands. Keep shaking out your hands vigorously, like you got to shake all the water off of them. And then turn the palms up as you shake them out. And then shake out your elbows. And shrug your shoulders up and down. And then wag your head, wag your tail. Okay, let's do just a little bit of tapping here. So we're going to start at the crown of the head. Gentle, so you just use the tip of the fingers, nice and gentle. They don't need to be very strong. So nice and gentle, tap towards the front of the hairline there, and then along the sagittal ridge all the way back, bottom of the skull. Tap along the occipital ridge at the base of your skull. Make sure you're still breathing, right? So we covered air and breath last week, but we're building on. So making sure you're still breathing, you're not holding your breath through any of this. And then keep tapping, tap at the back of your jaw right there. And then tap behind the ear, moving your way slowly, slowly up behind the ear. So you move all the way up towards your temple. You're still gently tapping. Nice gentle taps at your temple. And then again, start to tap up along the hairline. And then tap down the center of your forehead. Tap across the forehead, back to the temples, and then back to the center of the forehead. Tap in this little space right between the eyebrows, tapping along the eyebrows to the outer corners of the eyes. Very gently here, tapping gently at the corner of the eyes. Start to tap underneath your eyes, tapping here. So some of these are meridian points. Yeah. If you ever did EFT, emotional freedom technique, it's a tapping practice, and some of the points we're covering are in that. Okay, so tapping underneath the eyes, and then tap along the nose, down the side of the face, tap along your cheekbones, back towards the jaw, towards the ear, I mean. And then tap it back in to over your lips, so tapping right over the top of the lips, between the nose, nostrils, and the upper lip. And then tap it back out to the back of the jaw. And then come back in underneath your chin. So now tapping along your jaw, tap down the sides of your neck, tops of the shoulders. So as you get to off the face, you might use a little more pressure. tops of the shoulders, and then we're gonna pound our chest like Tarzan style. And let's make some noise again. So, just feel that vibration. Okay, keep pounding your chest. And now we're gonna tap underneath the chest, the belly, and you can down the tops of the legs. And now we're moving off in the front of the legs. If you're able to reach your feet, slap the tops of the feet, slap the soles of the feet, tap back up the inseam of the legs, and then the outseams of the legs back down, and then the back of the legs, bring it back up. We're gonna tap the sides of the hips. Use the back of your hands, fists, and tap your low back, sacral area. And just tap it up the back as high up as you can make it. And then we're gonna bring one hand on the chest and just palm tapping the chest. We're gonna go across one arm. So go across one arm, and then you can slap the hand, back of the hand, come along the back side of that arm, and then we're gonna cross the other side. And bring it back in. Okay, and then with your both hands, you're just gonna make some noise. Shh. As you wash it out. Shh. One more time. Shh. And shake it out. All right. You're like, what kind of crazy yoga is this? I know. Okay, but it's all moving energy. So, okay, so let's go ahead. We're gonna come onto hands and knees for just some gentle cat-cow. Again, if it doesn't work for you to be on hands and knees, you can stay seated in your chair to do seated cat-cow, which looks, you guys can all imagine, I know, but it's seated in the chair, and you're just gonna do what we did a moment ago, right? Rounding forward and back. You can also do it standing if you prefer, just, kind of squatting a little bit, hands on your thighs, and you can come forward and back here. Otherwise, for those of you who are able to get on the floor, make sure you have padding underneath your knees if you need. Nice big palms on the floor. If it's not appropriate to have palms down, you all know you can make fists with the knuckles down. If your palms are down, take a moment to find the ball of the index finger in the thumb mound and ground those 2 points down first. Then spread the palms wide, shoulders stacked over the wrists, hips stacked over our knees. And let's begin. As we inhale, we broaden our sit bones as we slide them up towards the ceiling. The belly naturally hammocks down, but we're still hugging the navel up. The heart glides forward, chin up, look up. Exhale, reverse, tailbone down, kidneys inflate up, chin towards the chest, crown of the head towards the floor. So just moving through cat-cow a few times. And as you do so, notice the undulation of your spine with the ebb and flow of breath. Feel yourself pressing into the earth and lifting up in space. Good. Next time we inhale, let's find a neutral spine. And we're going to bring the big toes together, knees slightly apart as we come into a child's pose. So sinking the hips back towards the heels. Let your arms reach forward as you ground your forehead. Now for some of us, if the forehead doesn't ground or there's a lot of space in the back, you might like to have something between the back of your calves and your hips. You might like to have a block underneath your chest, your sternum, and a block for your forehead so you can ground. Tops of the feet are on the floor, toenails pressing into the earth. Letting your arms be nice and long. Lifting up through the armpits, shoulder blades still sliding down the back body. Imagine underneath the wrist, the underbelly of the wrist are lifting so you're not just collapsing. And then from here, let's inhale, come back up. We're gonna bring the knees together now. And we're gonna sink back into like a child's pose, but this time we're gonna slide our hands back by the feet as we bring the forehead down. And now in this variation, breathe into that space between your shoulder blades. And then if it's appropriate, you can hold on to your heels as you start to gently roll from the forehead towards the crown of the head. And then bring it back down. So just nice and easy a few times. and then back down. From here, walk your hands forward again. Coming back up onto hands and knees. And we're gonna curl our toes under. And inhaling, come into cow pose. Exhaling, lift your knees a few inches off the floor. Lift to your navel. Hover. Inhale, bring it back down. Let's arch through cow. Exhale, round into cat. Again, lift to the navel, hover the knees. Imagine there's like a helium balloon underneath you, lifting you. So really broaden, lifting up, navel towards spine, sternum up into the shoulder blades. Okay, again, inhale, bring it down. And this time as we exhale, keep your sit bones broad and lifted as you lift your knees, send your hips up and back into downward dog. Inhale, bring it back down, comes through cow. Again, exhale, rising, lifting, bring it up, send it back. One more time, inhale, bring it down, through cow. Exhale, send it up and back. So imagine now this time, sit bones broad and lifted, inner thighs sliding back. Really take a moment, look at your hands, ground the ball of the index finger and thumb. Let your head be between your upper arms. You're lifting up through your armpits. Okay, and then from here, we're gonna make sure our feet are a little bit wider apart so we're nice and steady. And then you're gonna start to walk your hands back towards your feet. And we're just gonna come into a forward fold. So if you feel steady, you can interlace your clasp your elbows and gently hang a little and maybe rock a little side to side, shake out your head. And then we're gonna do some rubber lips. If you don't feel steady to be in the middle of the room in a forward fold, then you can always come to a wall instead and put your butt on the wall. Get your feet maybe a foot or so, foot and a half away from the wall. Take a wide stance so you're steady. And then you can forward fold here instead, right? So you got the wall supporting you. So if being in the middle of the room doesn't work, use a wall. And then just shake out the head. We're gonna do some rubber lips. So again, you need to we're focusing on the head and the face and the neck. So soften the face in order to do this. So it sounds silly, but it's not always so easy if your face is tight. So inhale, that's like a horse lips. You just shake it out. So a few rounds of those, inhale. Change your elbow clasp, other elbow in front. And again, 2 more, inhale. One more time. Okay, and then we're gonna bring our hands onto our thighs as we sit our booty back. We're gonna lift our heart up halfway, inhale. Folding as we exhale, pouring your spine back into the earth. Again, halfway lift, inhaling, rising. Exhaling, fold. This time pressing down, inhale, we rise all the way up. Sweep your arms out and up, feel that space all around you, palms touch at the top. And exhale, bring it down. All right, just take a moment now, feel yourself standing nice and tall. Release the hands, and we're gonna come into a nice comfortable stance with our feet a little bit wider apart than usual. So take a moment and just find a nice comfortable stance, feet a little bit wider than usual. And then we're gonna just do a little micro bend in our knees. So here, if your knees are bending but they're kind of knocking in, then what do you need? Do you need to spin your toes out a little bit? So when you bend your knees and toes are oriented in the same direction. Because we want to protect the knee joint. So just make sure your toes and knees, they're moving in the same direction when you bend your knees a little bit, yeah? Okay, so the toes can be slightly spinning out here as you bend your knees a little bit. Okay, so, and I know I don't usually give that instruction, but today we're gonna do that right here. So that when you bend your knees and toes are on the same track and direction. Okay, and then come back up. We're gonna ground down through your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up overhead. Gather all that space. And then your palms are pressing down like you're pressing a French press. Exhale, press press it down nice and slow, like you're moving a sieve through water. You know how there's a drag. Press it all the way down. As you press down, you bend your knees a bit. And then again, you're going to inhale, press down to lift up, gather, gather, gather all that goodness. And exhale, press it down through you. Change my camera angle. Good. And again, as you get to the bottom, pressing down to lift and rise, gathering. Exhale, bring it down through you. Nice, slow, long exhale. Okay, we're going to do 2 more. Inhale, press and rise, gathering all this goodness in the universe. And exhale, bringing it down through us into the earth. Last one. Pressing and rising, gathering. Exhale, bringing it down through us. Nice and easy. Stay low now. Inhale, you're going to sweep up all this goodness from Mother Earth and bring it up into your heart and flip your hands, pressing up, straightening the legs, send it up into sky. Again, inhale. Then gather all this goodness in Mother Earth, bring it up. And exhale, press it up into the heavens. 3 more, inhaling. So again, moving nice and slow as best you can. Bring it up and press it up into sky. 2 more. Good. Last one. Inhale. Sinking down. Gather. And exhale. Press it on up. Good. And then let your arms sweep back to the sides. And then big shoulder circle. And turn your toes back in and toe heel your feet in. Okay. From here, let's go ahead and we're gonna just do a little more shoulder arm stretching. So hopefully you all have a strap nearby. I forgot to mention that at the beginning, but if you don't have a yoga strap, you can use a belt, a necktie, a dog leash, anything that has some length to it to help with extending your reach. And we're just gonna do a little bit of shoulder work here. And I can't remember, maybe we did this last week. Okay, so feet, you wanna have your feet just a little bit wider than hip width, just so you feel really steady and stable, right? You can also sit in a chair if you prefer to sit on the front edge of a firm chair, right? So that'll work too. You can stay seated if that's better for you, feet planted underneath your knees, because we're gonna focus on the upper body. Okay, if you are staying standing, make sure you have a nice, good broad base. You activate your feet, feel the 4 corners of the feet grounding down, lifting those inner arches, lengthen the tailbone. And let's all get a nice tall spine. So whether you're seated or standing, lengthen the tailbone, reaching the crown up. Shoulder blades down the back and take your arms forward. So if you got a yoga strap, I like to hold the buckle in one hand just so it doesn't flail around and hit me. And you want to take maybe a couple of feet of distance between your hands. Depends on your size. I'm a pretty small person and I've got pretty mobile shoulders. But you're going to have to adjust this length for what's appropriate for you. Okay, but you'll see as we go. So bring the hands shoulder height, and you're starting to pull the hands away from each other. Shrug your shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Keep your shoulder blades moving down the back and keep pulling the hands away from each other. Keep your spine nice and tall. As you inhale, take your arms up overhead. And then see if you can take them back a little bit more. So here, if you have more distance between your hands, it'll be easier to take them back, I know. But if you get too much, you're gonna run into the trouble where your strap is hitting your forehead and you can't get it over. So do what's right for you, what feels like a good distance. And then one more breath, take it back another inch, and then bring it up and down as you exhale. And then shrug your shoulders. Let's just do that again. So again, take the appropriate distance of strap for you, and then shrug your shoulders, make that big shoulder circle. Keep pulling the straps away from each other. So as we do so, we're starting to engage these muscles here. So feel those muscles engage. Keep that. Keep your navel gently in and up. Keep your elbows towards straight without locking your elbows, but elbows staying straight as best you can. We're going to inhale to take our arms up overhead again. And again, breathe here. So now if your shoulders are way up here, maybe bring your arms back down, shrug your shoulder blades down. Keep your shoulder blades down as you press your hands, pull the hands away from each other, and you're only coming up as much as is appropriate while you're able to keep your shoulder blades down the back. So that might mean you're pausing here, maybe you're pausing here. So see where your true pose is and play with that edge rather than coming up into some variation of where you think you're supposed to be, but then the alignments and the posture is all kind of screwy. So really honoring what's true in this moment for you. Wherever you're at, see if you can take it up or back just another inch while keeping your shoulder blades down the back, keeping your navel in and up, keeping your spine nice and tall. Okay, and then for those of you where if you're able to get it overhead, we're gonna floss. If your arms are forward and front, then you're gonna maybe just come up and down a few more times and play with that edge, okay? If you're able to get your arms up overhead while maintaining nice straight elbows and shoulder blades down the back, you're able to get your strap just slightly behind the head, then keep your spine nice and tall through center as we swivel, just we're flossing our shoulders. So keep the elbows straight as you take your strap over to one side. Spine stays nice and tall like a rod. Back up through center and over to the other side. And again, back up through center. So what I'm not doing is I'm not doing this kind of a thing. I'm not side bending, right? So keep your spine nice and tall. And I'm also not doing this thing where sometimes people, they bend that elbow to slide it through, but keep the elbows towards straight, keep the spine nice and tall, and then you slide it over to one side, to whatever that is for you. Back up through center and over to the other side. Good, and back up. And let's release. And again, take some big shoulder circles. Okay, and then from there, let's go ahead. We're gonna release that. And we're just gonna, again, do a little bit of tapping. So, and then shake it out. Okay, we're gonna come back to our seat and we're gonna try the sounding thing one more time and see how the sounding might have shifted for you. Maybe, maybe not, but we're just exploring here. So, and then we probably won't have time for Shavasana before I turn things back to Katie. So please, if you have time to take a resting pose, please do set yourself up for a proper resting, whether that's on the floor or your legs up the wall or legs up on a chair. Take a moment to have some rest, either during the reading or after the reading if you have some time, okay? So we'll just do a last little round of sounding. We won't do the whole sequence. We'll just do A, E, O, Nu, and then we'll do the whole thing just once and an Om. All right, so again, find your seat, get nice and tall, ground down through your sit bones, lengthen up through the spine. Imagine yourself as a tuning fork. Imagine the space all around you, within you. Imagine us all being interconnected in this web. And then take a breath in, moving the hands. Inhaling for A. Inhaling for E. Inhaling for O. Inhaling for Num. whole thing. I-A-E-O Noom on one exhalation. Let's take that inhale. And then taking a breath for Om. Take a moment with the inner silence and stillness, filling the space all around and within, feeling the vibration. All right, and thank you, everybody. I want to turn it back to Katie as we wrap up the 5 elements. Thanks, Katie.
Thank you, Kat, so much for another great session. I really enjoyed the vocal work today. That was lovely. Well, give me just a moment. I'm going to share the book that I wanted to share with all of you today. So this week's theme is ether, which is characterized by emptiness, consciousness, and intuition. I've selected The Sound of a Wild Snail Eating by Elizabeth Tova Bailey to share with you. Bailey's essays and short stories have been published in the Yale Journal for Humanities and Medicine, the Missouri Review, Northwest Review, and the Sycamore Review. This is her only book, which earned the author the 2010 John Burroughs Medal in the Natural History Literature category. Bailey was diagnosed with a neurological disorder that left her very weak. Bedridden, she felt that life was slipping by. One day, she observed a wild snail that had taken up residence on her nightstand, having found itself there by way of a pot of violets given to Bailey by a friend. She was captivated by how the snail discovered its changing environment through minuscule, graceful movements. She said when she became aware that the snail had habits just like her is when she became intrigued in documenting its activities. Though Bailey could barely care for herself, she was able to care for the snail, feeding it flower petals and changing the soil in the pot. She would hear the nocturnal snail crunching on the petals in the middle of the night, reminding her that she wasn't alone. Bailey shared how she and the snail were living their lives in a parallel, by each other's side 24/7 for a year, which led to a sense of kinship with the animal. Observing and interacting with the snail helped combat feelings of isolation. While she wasn't able to be connected to the previous, healthy life that she lived, she could be connected to the snail's world. She says, "The snail and I were both living in altered landscapes not of our choosing. I figured we shared a sense of loss and displacement. Its companionship was a comfort to me and buffered by my feelings of uselessness." Though her relationship with the snail, which we learn in the epilogue, is a white-lipped forest snail, we learn what it means to be fully alive and the benefits of moving at a snail's pace. The Sound of a Wild Snail Eating is available in audio, ebook, and physical formats in the library collection, so you can check it out for yourself. And thank you again for joining us for Reach and Read, and a big thank you to Kat. We'll be back with a new series of Reach and Read starting next Thursday, May 18th at 10 a.m. So we hope to see you then. So to find a library location near you, sign up for a library card, or to learn about upcoming programs for all ages, just go to www.saclibrary.org. So for Kat, myself, and the Sacramento Public Library, thank you so much and be well. Bye.